Good evening. My name is Dr. Dayanand Sagariyal. I'm a resident doctor in Karnataka. I'm also the president of Karnataka Association of Resident Doctors. This video I'm making because I feel very helpless being a resident doctor in India right now. I speak in this video not just on behalf of Karnataka, it is on behalf of all the resident doctors of India. Yesterday, the central government has come up with some draconian laws which everybody should know. The thing is, usage of final year MBBS students for COVID duties, postponement of NEET PG exams, and also extension of JR3, that is the final year PG services. Now, the world outside the medical fraternity today has woken up because IPL is indefinitely postponed. So in a country where entertainment is given more importance than healthcare, in a country where we want discount on drugs but liquor at MRP prices, the resident doctors are going through a lot, not just because of the virus but because of the administrators and the rules that they make. Let us take the steps one by one. Now, when it comes to postponement of final year MD, MS students or even super specialty final year students, you cannot postpone the exams because according to NMC guidelines, they are a JR only for a period of 3 years. More than 3 years they cannot work as JR. They have to be promoted as SRs. So you have to conduct exams within a stipulated time. If you are not able to conduct the exam within that particular time, then you have to promote them as SRs. You cannot keep them as JRs. But why government wants us to work as JRs is because we can be used, not utilized, used, exploited as cheap labor at a lesser price, at a lesser designation, and our lives matter less to them. So, has the government consulted a single doctor before making such, idiotic, unscientific, irrational, unwarranted rules? Even a student, MBBS student would know that such rules are stupid and will not help in the government in any way. In fact, if they want to retain the health forces, they could have promoted the JRs who have completed as 3 years and taken them as SRs and made them work as senior residents. Because when they can work in the COVID ward, when they can contribute in the pandemic, when they are able to handle the entire healthcare system when it is at its greatest crisis, then they're equally eligible to be promoted, to have passed the exams. But why government is not doing that? As I said, they want to exploit us more and more against the laws. So they mold the rule like the way they want. When you want them to work, so you will be a bonded labor. Because JRship or PG life is a bonded labor. So they are making this as a bonded labor to exploit. Now let us come to the issue of postponing NEET PG exam. The rule makers or the decision makers have no clue or no idea. They are not at all aware of what an MBBS is, what NEET PG is, and what MDMS is. If at all anybody had any idea in the rule makers, they would not take measures like postponing exams indefinitely for 4 months. Somebody who has prepared exam for this particular exam, nearly around 2 lakh doctors who are preparing seriously since last 2 years. Many of them preparing for last 3 years, at least 1.5 years. For them, you cannot tell we will give you 1 month time, you revise everything and come. For people of non-medical fraternity, let me tell you, this is the most competitive exam. Okay, though you may feel that UPSC has more competition, cracking a NEET PG is one of the toughest in the entire medical career. So, if you tell you come and work for 4 months and then go back and read for 1 month, do you think they are going to do that? And the answer is a clear no. They would continue to read because whatever they have spent time for last 2 years, they don't want to ruin that even though they want to contribute. So what best thing they could have done? They could have conducted the exam. They could have, once they conduct the exam, students would not be, burdened by the academic burden about the studies, about their preparation. They need not have to worry. Once the exam was over, they could have come back and served. Or even they could have hastened the counseling process. If they did the counseling process, students would join all over the medical colleges in the entire country. They would contribute there. And then, the students who are not able to crack the exam and get a seat, they could have been used as non-academic junior residents across the country. But however, Government of India has come with stupid rule saying that, they would give you 100 days, Sanman certificate or something. I am telling you on behalf of all resident doctors of India, from Resident Doctors Association, we will give some Sanman certificate to our Honorable Prime Minister if you invest 100 days in healthcare system. Uplifting healthcare system, if you dedicate yourself for 100 days, we will give you some Sanman certificate which you can utilize further. Now, you need to also understand the mindset of the NEET PG aspirants. Now, neither can they study nor they can come and work. Because when it comes to coming and work, though they want to contribute, whatever they have read, they would not be able to revise within a period of 1 month. So, the exam was scheduled on Jan, let me tell you. But the government then postponed the exam without any definitive reason to April 18th. Now, from April 18th, they said exam would be in June. And from then, now they are telling it will not be conducted up till September. So, what kind of rule makers are you? If you're not thinking of the future consequences, how can you form such draconian rules? You could have finished the exam. Once the exam anxiety is over, all of them would be happily coming and working here. But you didn't give them a chance to work. And also now probably you have a threatening tone when you tell that you should have that 100 days certificate with you. It will give preference. Are you telling that if they don't have 100 days certificate, they are not eligible to write the exam? Is it what you are telling? Now when it comes to the final year MBBS students being utilized for services, why them? They do not have a degree yet. They do not have been exposed to, forget about COVID, non-clinical, non-COVID services only, clinical non-COVID services only, they have not been exposed adequately. They are like any other students, But why you want to take them and not recruit new appointments? Why? Is it because, again, as I said, cheap labor? Government treats MBBS students' life is inferior to any other human beings. Like not just a doctor work. There are so many work. No. Logistical work is there. Coordination work is there required. Okay. We need, ward boys here. We need, so many. Why don't you recruit IITs? You can recruit IIT students, IIM students. So that all the non-clinical work, clerical work can be get done by them. Do you do that? No, you don't do that because you don't have spine. You don't have guts. But what you have is the soft target. That is the resident doctors. Now, final year MBBS students who are not qualified to become a doctor, how do you expect them to work in a COVID ward like a doctor? How do you expect? Tell me. So it is just that that they can be exploited. That since they are, youngest doctors, you may pay very nominal to them or you may not pay at all. And if you tell working in COVID is compulsory to pass final year exams, so they will be made to work. That is the cheap trick that you are using. Dear Government of India, it is the cheap trick that you are using. When it comes to uplifting healthcare system, do you actually have, if 2 lakh doctors, come to work, the NEET PG aspirants, do you actually have enough infrastructure to provide facility for the 2 lakh doctors? Or do you have any guidelines on how to stepwise implement these rules that you have made? You have no answer. But what you want to do is exploit the junior resident doctors across the country as much as possible so as to hide your failures. You want to bring in more, resident doctors in the upfront so that you can hide behind them. Your failures can be masked by them. This is such a cheap gimmick that you are playing. Now, when it comes to upliftment, what you could have done? You could have paid a very good risk allowance to resident doctors. You could have passed the final years and said, do not worry about exams and academics. This is a lifetime battle that you and we are fighting together. We will pay you accordingly for the services that you are doing. You do the job, we will support you. That you could have done. You are not doing that. You could have provided, a uniform residential scheme across India, because everywhere they are doing COVID duty. A doctor in Karnataka gets a pay of around 30 to 35,000. A doctor in Delhi gets a pay of around 90,000. A doctor in Tamil Nadu gets a pay of around 31,000. A doctor in Himachal Pradesh gets something. This inequality, that you are creating, that you could have normalized. The dignity of labor, all the COVID work, just because we are a resident, just because we are doing MD and MS, you are exploiting us by making us do COVID duty. It is a national service, national, work that we do at the crisis. But have you paid a single rupee incentive anywhere? A deserving incentive? Because it is of our academics that we are doing this. Have you paid a single rupee incentive? Anatomy PG, who took the PG to to teach the students, is put to COVID ward. She is exposed. A pharmacology PG, who thought she would do a 9 to 4 PG life, is put on night duties. Somewhere a dental resident, who wanted to, lead a peaceful and calm life, is now put in the triage area and the casualty where, she has to receive abuse and other things. Have you considered paying incentives for this? And what about the academic loss that we are going through? Just because it is a national duty, we have been doing our duties. But what about the academic loss that we are facing because of the COVID? Have you considered about this? Whatever all the 3 rules that you have made is utter nonsense. This is going to, whatever already medical education system because of the pandemic is in coma. You are with these rules, you are strangulating its neck and you are assassinating medical education in India. We, all the resident doctors in India, demand for, first thing is promoting JR3s as senior residents and asking them to continue to work with SR pay and risk incentives. And we want you to conduct NEET PG exams so that we get enough pool of resident doctors who have already written exams and who could not clear NEET and get a seat for them. We want them to recruit them as non-academic JRs. Before taking final year MBBS students, you recruit more doctors. You offer them pay and you recruit more doctors. Don't, play with the lives of innocent MBBS doctors. We hope it reaches till the PMO office. Please share this video with everyone. The thing is, more than the pandemic, these rule makers and their moronic and horrifying rules troubles the resident doctors in India. Share this video as much as possible until it reaches probably the rule makers, the PMO and other people with the hashtag Save Medical Education. Thank you.